and welcome to Bible Body Doubling. This is where we read the stories together and we wonder out loud. I'm your host, Giovanna J. Here are my co-hosts, KJ5 and CSB. How's your day going? Because we're having a time over here. Are you guys having a time where you're at? Because it's a time over here. But nevertheless, I've made room. You've made room so we can read together and so I can read to you. So we are on First Chronicles chapter 10. And last week we read, what did we read? You know, every time I think I'm prepared, I'm not. But we read chapter 9, 8, 7, and 6. If I do it backwards, then I will remember. So today we're reading First Chronicles 9 through 10. And we're on the history. It's just taking us, the book is taking us through the story, starting from Adam all the way. Right now we are on chapter 10, but it's talking about when Israel first, before Israel became a nation. It just started off with Adam at the beginning. We're going to go there at the beginning, hopefully July 1st or in August. Adam, and then it takes you all the way up to where we've read 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, which is where we're at. And so it's the departure, well, the exile, first exile for the south, the north, then now the exile of the south. And I think that was a part A, part B type situation. But here we are at chapter 10. We are on David's lineage. And I think that's about it, folks. So let's get into this good book. Y'all look. Do I have it? Why do I go through this every time? Why? Did I do something? There we go. It's a little cricket on. Wait a minute now. Are you all straight now? It doesn't feel like it. Aha. There we are. All right, chapter 10. The Philistines fought against Israel, and Israel's men fled from them. Many were killed on Mount Gilboa. The Philistines pursued Saul and his sons and killed his sons Jonathan. Remember that? That was so sad. Abinadab and Melchishua. When the battle intensified against Saul, the archers spotted him and severely wounded him. Then Saul said to his armor bearer, "Draw your sword and run me through it." Draw your sword and run me through with it, or these uncircumcised men will come and torture me. But his armor bearer would not do it because he was terrified. Then Saul took his sword and fell on it. When his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he also fell on his own sword, and died. So Saul and his 3 sons died. His whole house died together. There we go. When all the men of Israel in the valley saw that the army had fled and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their cities and fled. So the Philistines came and settled in them. The next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, they found Saul and his sons dead in Mount Gilboa. They stripped Saul, cut off his head, took his armor, and sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistines to spread the good news to their idols and the people. Then they put on his armor. Then they put his armor in the temple of their gods and hung his skull and the temple of Dagon. When all Jabesh Gilead heard of everything the Philistines had done to Saul, all their brave men set out and retrieved the body of Saul. See, this is what I'm talking about. You know, we can say a lot about Saul. Everybody can talk about Saul, but his people loved him. Okay? The men loved Saul. All their brave men sent out and retrieved the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons and brought them back to Jabesh. They buried their bones under the oak in Jabesh and fasted 7 days. Saul died for his unfaithfulness to the Lord because he did not keep the Lord's word. He even consulted a medium for guidance, but he did not inquire of the Lord. You know, he didn't inquire of the Lord, but the Lord wasn't talking to him either. So, so I don't know if it was a tit for tat because God was done with Saul and he no longer heard him. And so by the time Saul went to go see the witches and stuff, like God, I really wasn't talking to him. So, But he did not inquire of the Lord. So the Lord put him to death and turned the kingdom over to David, son of Jesse. All of Israel came together to David at Hebron and said, "Here we are, your own flesh and blood. Even previously when Saul was king, you were leading Israel out to battle and bringing us back. The Lord your God also said to you, you will shepherd my people Israel, and you will be ruler over my people Israel." So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron. David made a covenant with them at Hebron in the Lord's presence, and they anointed David king over Israel in keeping with the Lord's word through Samuel. David and all Israel marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus, and the Jebusites who inhabited the land were there. The inhabitants of Jebus said to David, "You will never get in here." Yet David did capture the stronghold of Zion, that is the city of David. David said, "Whoever is the first to kill a Jebusite will become chief commander." Joab, son of Zeruiah, went up first, so he became the chief. Oh, okay. I thought he became the chief just because he was the cousin. No. I was sadly mistaken. Joab earned his right. It wasn't no family favors here. Then David took up residence in the stronghold. Therefore, it was called the city of David. He built up the city all the way around, from supporting terraces to the surrounding parts, and Joab restored the rest of the city. David steadily grew more powerful when the Lord of armies was with him. The following were the chiefs of David's warriors who, together with all Israel, strongly supported him in his reign to make him king according to the Lord's word about Israel. This is the list of David's warriors. Jashobim, son of Hachmani, was chief of the 30. He wielded his spear against 300 and killed them at one time. After him, Eleazar, son of Dodo, the Ahohite, was one of the 3 warriors. He was with David at Pasdamim when the Philistines had gathered there for battle. There was a portion of the field full of barley where the troops had fled from the Philistines. But Eleazar and David took their stand in the middle of the field and defended it. They killed the Philistines, and the Lord gave them a great victory. Three of the 30 chief men went down to David. Oh my goodness, get it together, G. Went down to David, to the rock at the cave of Adullam, while the Philistine army was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. At that time, David was in the stronghold, and the Philistine garrison was at Bethlehem. David was extremely thirsty and said, "Oh, if only someone would bring me water to drink from the well at the city gate of Bethlehem." So the three broke through the Philistine camp and drew water from the well at the gate of Bethlehem. They brought it back to David, but he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out to the Lord. David said, "I will never do such a thing in the presence of my God. How can I drink the blood of these men who risked their lives?" For they brought it at the risk of their lives. So he would not drink it. Such were the exploits of the three warriors. Abishai, Joab's brother, was the leader of the three. He raised his spear against 300 men and killed them, gaining a reputation among the three. He was more honored than the three and became their commander, even though he did not become one of the three. Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, was the son of a brave man from Kabzeel. A man of many exploits. Benaniah killed two sons of Ariel of Moab, and he went down into the pit on a snowy day and killed a lion. He also killed an Egyptian who was 7.5 feet tall. Even though the Egyptian had a spear in his hand like a weaver, beam, Benaniah went down to him with a club, snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and then killed him with his own spear. These were the exploits of Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, who had a reputation among the three warriors. He was the most honored of the 30, but he did not become one of the three. David put him in charge of his bodyguards. Of his bodyguard. No S. The best soldiers were Joab's brother Asahel, Elhanan, son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shamath, the Hararite, Heliz, the Pelonite, son of Ikesh, the Tekoite, Abiezer, the Anathothite, Sibakah, the Hushathite, Elai, Ahohite. Mahari, you had to say that from the girl. Ahohite. Mahari, the Netophathite. Helid, son of Baanah, the Netophathite. Ethai, son of Ribai, from Gibeah of the Benjaminites. Benaniah, the Parathonite. Horiah, from the Wadis of Gaash. Abiel, the Arbathite. Azmaveth, the Ba'arumite. Eliabah, the Shalbonite. The sons of Hashim, the Gizonite. Jonathan, son of Shagi, the Hararite. Ahiam, son of Zakar, the Hararite. Eliphaz, son of Hefer, the Mecher, or the Mecher. The Mecherathite. Ahijah, the Pelonite. Hezrod, the Carmelite. Naarai, son of Isbai. Joel, the brothers of Nathan. Mibhar, son of Hagri. Zelik, the Ammonite. Naharai, the Berothite. The armor bearer for Joab, son of Zeruiah. Ira, the Ithrite. Gareb, the Ithrite. Uriah the Hittite, Zabad son of Ali, Adina son of Shisa the Reubenite, chief of the Reubenites, and 30 with him. Hanan son of Maacah, Josaphat the Mithnite, Uzziah the Eshterathite, Shammah, Jeiel, the sons of Hotham, and Aroeret. Jediel, son of Shimri, and his brothers Johad the Tizite, Eliel the Mahavite, Jeribah the Joshaviah, the sons of Elnaam, Ithma the Moabite, Eliel, Obed, and Jaasiel the Mesobate. Oh, went too far. The following were the men who came to David at Ziklag, while he was still banned from the presence of Saul, son of Kish. They were among the warriors who helped him in battle. They were archers who could use their right or left hand, both to sling stones and shoot arrows from a bow. They were Saul's relatives from Benjamin. Ooh. Wait a minute. Hold on. The following were the men who came to David at Ziklag while he was still banned from the presence of Saul, son of Kish. They were among the warriors who helped him in battle. They were archers who could use their right or left hand, both to sling stones and shoot arrows from a bow. They were Saul's relatives from Benjamin. Okay. So your nemesis, family members, came to help you fight. I wonder what that conversation was like. Cause first of all, I know that you some kin to the man who's trying to kill me. And am I reading that right? And they came to help David? Yeah. I'd feel some type of way if I was Saul. You're my family members. Where are you going over there with David for? You're my family members. You know? And then I wonder what David would have felt like. Because how could you trust me? You don't know. Are you for me? Are you against me? You know? Are you traitors? Spies? But they end up being his boys. It says they were among the warriors who helped him. See, you really got to think outside the box when you're serving the Lord, because when you're serving God, because I don't, but you know what, too? I forgot he fought with these men. He know these men. These are not foreign people to him. These are brothers for him because they fought wars together. He was their chief, right? Mm-hmm. He was their captain, because when he won, well, I mean, he didn't win the full battle, but when he cut off the giant's head and then they had to go ahead and fight the rest of the battle to actually win the battle, he kind of gave him a little pump. He won the daughter's hand in marriage, and with that came that he became a captain. So, yeah, these are his boys at the end of the day. I mean, they're brothers, like, comrades. So he probably already just knew them and kind of like just knew where they stand. Maybe with the whole tearing of the kingdom from Saul. But anyway, they were Saul's relatives from Benjamin. Their chief was Ahizar, son of Shema the Gibeathite. Then there was his brother Joash. Oh, I remember Joash. Jeziel and Pelet, sons of Asmaveth. Barakah, Jehu, and Anathite. Ishmaiah, the Jebunite, a warrior among the 30 and the leader of the 30. Jeremiah, Jehaziel, Johanan, Josabad, and Gederathite. Eluzeh, Jeremoth, Bealiah, Shemariah, Shephatiah, the Uraphite, Elkanai, Ishiah, Azarel, Joazer, and Josh-Obim. or Joshua Obeam. I will go with Beam. Joshua Beam. The Korahites, and Joelah. Who? Wait, and Joelah and Jebediah, the son of Jeraham, the Geter. Some Gadites defected to David at his stronghold in the desert. They were valiant warriors, trained for battle, expert with the shield and spear. Their faces was like the faces of lions, and they were as swift as gazelles on the mountains. Ezer was the chief, Obadiah second, Eliab third, Mishmana fourth, Jeremiah fifth, Attai sixth, Eliab seventh, Johanan eighth, Elizabad ninth, Jeremiah 10th, and Machbanah 11th. These Gadites were army commanders. The least of them was a match for 100, and the greatest of them for 1,000. These are the men who crossed the Jordan the first month when it was overflowing all its banks, and put to flight all those in the valley to the east and to the west. Other Benjaminites and men from Judah also went to David at the stronghold. Okay, all right. Everybody get together. Get it together. Other Benjaminites and men from Judah also went to David at the stronghold. David went out to meet them and said to them, "If you have come in peace to help me, my heart will be united with you. But if you have come to betray me to my enemies, even though my hands have done no wrong, may the God of our ancestors look on it and judge." See, I think that is a lethal prayer. A lethal prayer and a lethal statement. The reason why I say that, okay, spoiler alert. Remember, some of you all may. Some of you may not. And don't worry. You stick with me. Step up. Stay on my hip. We're going to read it together. But remember when Jacob... Remember when Jacob and... What is his name? Give me a second. Oh my goodness. What is his name? Laban. Remember when... Okay, so... I don't know what to say. Okay. Let's start there. Let's see where... I'm trying to figure out where to start. Be that as it may, Jacob worked 14 years for Rachel, and Laban was out here just swindling the old boy. Swindling, you could say, for his money, because he was swindling him in herds, and he was swindling him in time. And so Jacob got out. Jacob left Laban's house he snuck out, and he took his family with him, because by then he had kids, he had 2 wives, all the different things. But the deal originally was that if he would work 7 years for Rachel hand in marriage, and then he got swindled by Laban. So then Laban's like, you got to work 7 more years. He works 7 more years for Rachel, and I don't know what happened. I don't know. I can't wait to read that again with you all. But I don't know if his time was up or if something else happened. I don't remember. But he ended up sneaking out in the night. And when Laban woke up and saw that his grandkids was gone and that Jacob was gone, he made such a little hoopla. Laban knew he was out here abusing the boy. But he goes to pursue him. Catch up with him, and the argument they had in the scriptures was heated. And Jacob finally blows up at Laban, and he goes at it with Laban. He goes at it, because he ain't say nothing first until Laban was like, "You stole from me. You stole my idol from me. You took my daughter and my grandkids." Like, he's going in. And then was like, Jacob was like, "Well, go look. You can look in the camp. We didn't take nothing from you." When actually somebody did take the idol. I think it was Rachel took an idol and she hid it. And so he couldn't find nothing. And so when he came out and he couldn't find anything, so therefore it looked like he falsely accused Jacob. Jacob went off. I mean, it's like Jacob had pent up energy. Okay, as he should, 14 years of being swindled, and you tried to steal his herds, and you gave him the wrong woman at the beginning. It was a lie. It was a lie. And he went in. And then afterwards, like they had their choice words. Then afterwards, oh, I'm getting excited. Can't even talk. Then afterwards, they say this prayer. I'm getting to it, just a slow roundabout way. They say this prayer, and the prayer was, may the Lord watch between you and me. If you ever been into a service and they've said this prayer, I don't know. I mean, I guess it can be translated, but I think this is a good prayer to say when you got beef with somebody and you really are trusting God for the situation. If you believe in God for the situation, this is a good prayer to pray to me. And I think it helps a person to forgive. For me, as for me, it helped me to forgive and let things go. But they was just like, I don't know who prayed the prayer. I think it was Jacob or both of them, but it was like, may the Lord watch between you and me. Let him see what you do. Let him see what I do, and let him be the judge of it. I said, ooh. That's tight, and that's how they left it. And they parted ways, and I just love that prayer. I don't know. I don't know if it was an actual prayer, because I think it was. It was almost like an agreement / if prayer is a conversation, it was a prayer. It was a conversation between them two and God. And because they didn't come, they sat down, they ate together. Sat down, ate together, and it seemed like they were trying to come to some form of agreement. And I don't know if they could. And that is where they left it. Okay? And I just think that's an awesome prayer. So this is what this reminds me of. That is what this reminds me of. It reminds me of... Okay, I'm back. That's what this reminds me of. This part when he says, verse 16. Other Benjaminites and men from Judah also went to David at the stronghold. David went out to meet them and said to them, if you have come in peace to help me, my heart will be united with you. But if you have come to betray me to my enemies, even though my hands have done no wrong, may the God of our ancestors look on it and judge. Which is basically what that prayer was saying. Like, okay, yeah, you saying everybody's supposed to, because, Laban did express himself. And I think he felt tried. You know what I'm saying? He was like, because he did. Why? And when he was fussing and they were arguing back and forth, he was like, who does it? How dare you take my daughters? And da 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 da. And so he felt some type of way. I think he felt a little hurt. I think the idol was a little bit of an excuse. I felt he probably felt a little hurt. So, but that prayer sounds like this. May the God of your ancestors, of our ancestors, look on it and judge. So it's like palms up, palms up, palms up. That's what it looks like, So if any of you out there are having trouble letting something go, I'm telling you, do palms up, palms up. May the Lord watch. He gonna watch you, and he's gonna watch me, and he's gonna judge it. Okay, so be afraid. Be very afraid. All right. Back to the scripture at hand. If you have come in peace to help me. Oh, I said that part already. Okay, verse 18. Then the Spirit enveloped Amos. Oh, wait a minute. We got some drama. Hold on. Let me start all over. Sorry, guys. Other Benjaminites and men from Judah also went to David at the stronghold. David went out to meet them and said to them, if you have come in peace to help me, my heart will be united with you. But if you have come to betray me to my enemies, even though my hands have done no wrong, may the God of our ancestors look on it and judge. Then the Spirit enveloped Amasa, chief of the 30, and he said, we are yours, David. We are with you, son of Jesse. Peace, peace to you, and peace to him who helps you. for your God helps you." So David received them and made them leaders of his troops. Some Manassites defected to David when he went with the Philistines to fight against Saul. However, they did not help the Philistines because the Philistine rulers sent David away after a discussion. I remember that part. Y'all remember that part? They said it will be our heads if he defects to his master Saul, which was kind of smart. You know what I mean? When David went to Ziklag, some men from Manasseh defected to him. Adnah, Jozabad, Jadiel, Michael. That's Michael? Yeah, that's Michael. Jozabad, Elihu, and Zilithai, chiefs of thousands in Manasseh. They helped David against the raiders, for they were all valiant warriors and commanders in the army. At that time, men came day. I'm sorry, men came. At that time, men came day after. Oh, at that time, men came day after day to help David until there was a great army, like an army of God. I wonder what that looked like. An army of God. Well, they would know if they're comparing it to an army of God. They must know what an army of God looked like. The numbers of the armed troops who came to David at Hebron The numbers of The numbers of the armed troops who came to David at Hebron to turn Saul's kingdom over to him, according to the Lord's word, were as follows. From the Judahites, 6,800 armed troops bearing shields, and spears. From the Simeonites, 7,100 valiant warriors ready for war. From the Levites, 4,600 in addition to Joadah, leader of the house of Aaron, with 3,700 men, and Zadok, a young valiant warrior, with 22 commanders from his father's family. From the Benjaminites, the relatives of Saul, 3,000. Up to that time, the majority of the Benjaminites maintained their allegiance to the house of Saul. So we were right. You know? Just like that. You know? I always say this, but you didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me. But I said, blood is not always thicker than water. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's, people want it to be. Blood is real thick. But it ain't always thicker than water. Although that is facts. Blood is thicker than water, especially when it coagulates. I think that's the word. And those platelets start doing their thing, and it's supposed to start blood clotting. It is thicker than water, but you know what I mean. All right. Back to the matter at hand. From the Ephraimites, 20,800 valiant warriors who were famous men in their ancestral families. From half the tribe of Manasseh, 18,000 designated by name to come and make David king. From the Issacharites, who understood the times. Ooh. That's tasty. Okay. What does that mean? Do we have a footnote down here somewhere? Wondering minds would like to know. From the Issacharites. From the and knew what Israel should do. Okay, let's go down. Let's see. We got little footnotes down here. Okay, it's right here. It says 12:32. The group understood the times and knew what Israel should do. That insight tells us that somebody raised those boys to understand what was happening around them, and they were ready to serve. They are faithful examples of kingdom living. Parents, teacher. Okay, we don't. Don't tell us what to do. We don't want to know what to do. We just want to read the Bible. We want to understand it. Don't tell us what to do. We don't like people trying to control us. All right. Thank you though. Thank you. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you though. But right now we just want to read the story. Don't tell us what to do. From the Issacharites who understood the times and knew what Israel should do, 200 chiefs with all their relatives under their command. From Zebulun, 50,000 who could serve in the army, trained for battles with all kinds of weapons of war, with with one purpose to help David. That is so unique. 50,000 men with one purpose, and that was to help David. See, this makes it even the more just excruciating when he messed up with Bathsheba and killed that man. You were so well taken care of. We read it and then we getting some more tea. We get more information as it goes on. Like, it's giving us like tidbits that wasn't in First Samuel, Second Samuel, First Kings, Second King. And we get more little tidbits of how much he was so taken care of. And I'm like, why didn't you just ask? Like, what? I really want to know. Like, I'm just thinking and wondering, like, what was his mental at that time? Like, what was he thinking? I'm really curious. I would love to do an interview with him. From Naphtali, 1,000 commanders accompanied by 37,000 men with shield and spear. From the Danites, 28,600 trained for battle. From Asher, 40,000 who could serve in the army trained for battle. From across the Jordan, from the Reubenites, Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, 120,000 men equipped with all the military weapons of war. All these warriors, lined up in the battle formation, came to Hebron, who wholeheartedly determined to make David king over all Israel. All the rest of Israel was also of one mind to make David king. They spent 3 days there eating and drinking with David, for their relatives had provided for them. In addition, their neighbors from as far away as Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali came and brought food on donkeys, camels, mules, and oxen. Abundant provisions of flowers. Oh, sorry, y'all, not anything. Sorry. Abundant provisions of flour, fig cakes, raisins, wine, and oil, herds and flocks. Indeed, there was joy in Israel. See what I'm saying? So right now he's a fugitive, but now he's king. But just what part? He didn't get the whole kingdom. He got partial kingdom, partial piece of the kingdom. And even then, remember when he first... No. That was... Okay, so... And even then, like... remember that guy who helped him when he crossed the river? That was after... That's after he had sinned before the Lord and messed up with Bathsheba and killed that man. What's my man's name? Uriah. But even in his ways and him doing all the things, and he had to run because Absalom was taking over his kingdom, and his house was like the Lord had said, it was going to be a sword in his house. He crossed over the river, and there was a man waiting and gave him food and drink and all this kind of stuff, and was taking care of him while he was being punished by God. And when he came back to sit on the throne, that man, David was like, hey, come over to the kingdom with me. And the guy was just like, no, I'm too old. And he was a person that was an honorable man in his own right, in whatever piece of the city that he was in across the river. But I was just like, he was always cared for, even though he, we haven't read it together yet, but we will. In the book of Psalms, we know that he was a man of a lot of sorrows. He was still kind of like taken care of. David consulted with all his leaders, the commanders of hundreds and of thousands. Then he said to the whole assembly of Israel, if it seems good to you, and if this is from the Lord our God, let us spread out and send the message to the rest of our relatives and all the districts of Israel, including the priests and Levites in their cities with the pasture lands, that they should gather together with us. Then let us bring back the ark of our God, for we did not inquire of him in Saul's days. See, it's a lot going on. Okay, so remember we read with King Josiah. We read with King Josiah that he was the only king that took down the high places and all the things, but they did not serve Passover. They were not serving. They weren't observing Passover ever since the day of Judges. And then Saul wasn't seeking. Well, I guess he's counting it from maybe when the prophet Samuel had passed away. Well, no, it was a little bit before that, because he was tripping on Samuel too, because Saul tried to kill the prophet Samuel. So we know God wasn't speaking to him then either. But yeah, like that's right, because he was looking for some witches. Whew. Okay, let's keep going. Then let us bring back the ark of our God, for we did not inquire of him in Saul's days. Since the proposal seemed right to all the people, the whole assembly agreed to do it. So David assembled all Israel from the Shihor of Egypt to the entrance of Hamath to bring the ark of God from Kiriath Jearim. Oh, I thought I was going to say like Kiriath Jearim down to, to bring the ark of God from Kiriath Jearim. David and all Israel went to Bala, that is Kiriath Jearim, that belongs to Judah, to take from there the ark of God, which bears the name of the Lord, who is enthroned between the cherubim. At Anadab's house, they set the ark of God on a new cart. Uzzah and Ahio were guiding the cart. David and all Israel were dancing with all their might before God with songs and with lyres, harps, tambourines, cymbals, and trumpets. When they came to the Chidoms, I still said the same thing twice, threshing floor, Uzzah reached out to hold the ark because the oxen had stumbled. Then the Lord's anger burned against Uzzah, and he struck him dead because he had reached out to the ark. So he died there in the presence of God. David was angry because of the Lord's outburst against Uzzah. So he named that place Outburst against Uzzah, as it is still named today. David feared God that day and said, how can I ever bring the ark of God to me? So David did not bring the ark of God home to the city of David. Instead, he diverted it to the house of Obed-edom of Gath. The ark of God remained at Obed-edom's I thought it was like a other hybrid. So Obed-edom's family in his house for 3 months. And the Lord blessed his family and all that he had. Closed scenes. Thank you so much for allowing me to read to you. This is the Bible Body Doubling Podcast. It is sponsored by the Gardener's House. And until I read to you again on the next episode, ta-ta for now.